of a day in which we will honor the memory and the legacy of a true trailblazer here in Los Angeles. That's no other than our very own Gloria Molina, which will kick off tomorrow night at Casa 101. This play will bring to the stage Gloria's life story, her struggles, the struggles that Gloria championed throughout her career. Today, we're privileged to have members of Gloria's family with us as well.
Tremendous difficulties, even when you look back at what she had to endure to get there. And then subsequently, once she got there, the obstacles and the resistance that she was met with to help just make sure that Latinos had a voice in their local government. Councilman De Leon, I was really proud to join you in helping to create this. I look forward to seeing the play and
proclaim tomorrow Gloria Molina Day in the city of Los Angeles, her hometown, her home city, the impact that she's had. Felicidades and congratulations. Y que viva Gloria!
Learn how to save a life. I encourage all city staff and members of the public who want to learn more about Narcan.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Yes, my name is Leticia Valadares, and I am part of the District 1. I'm a business owner that I'm encountering no response from my councilwoman, which was Ms. Hernandez. I've been trying to reach them for almost a year and a half. I'm in the front line. I have a business that is in front of MacArthur Park, that daily I've been robbed. We are physically abused by the homeless. And also we have a lot of problems with the people that sell on the street without no permits. They sell everything. You can find from medicine to alcohol daily, freely. And nothing has been done. I am trying to go to the mayor as well. But I like to speak with everybody who want to listen. This is terrible for all the small businesses in the area. And I am trying to collect signatures because we pay city license, we pay health permit, we pay everything, and nobody does anything to help us. And as I heard Mr. De Leon saying that Ms.
Speaker, your general public time has expired. Next speaker.
I appreciate you, team. Thank you. So my name is Julian Alexander Macara. I'm founder and CEO of A Dream Foundation, or adreamnow.org. I'm soliciting regarding these points for the Housing Department and other relative programs regarding workforce development services and constituent services to the city, as relative very much to the past 2 days of presenters that you have had. I'm a Ukrainian immigrant of a Mexican mother. Sole proprietorship, grew up in the swap meets, fire department since I was 15, and I'm seeing much of what I've been presenting to the council members in this packet, in which I cannot discuss, like my academy program. LA's Best is now receiving a site upstairs. So I want to review on my public comment, and not yet, and my public comment, all the emails this year that I have been soliciting to you. So now, on 6/14, my first request to CD1 was enabled. On 6/20, I spoke with Myra Jimenez via email for CD1. That was the first I advised yesterday. 6/27, I sent my first email to Mr. Ben Espinosa. I did not receive an email back for the Cultural
Speaker,
Affairs
this is not on the agenda. You're welcome to talk to it during general if you'd like.
Did I not advise that? I apologize.
Okay,
you were speaking
so
to the other gentleman.
1 minute for general. Go ahead.
You were speaking to the other gentleman, and now you cut me off again. So, 6/27, CD8, my first email to Ebony. And I've sent Ebony multiple emails. 7/1, Cultural Affairs Department, my second email to Haley now. 7/2, CD8, my second email to CD8 through Ebony, and then also going on the website. As she said, you can schedule on the website. On 7/10, I spoke finally with Irene Cerna, who met with me in her car for CD1. She did not review my documentation. And then on the 15th, she said that she was unable to support the project financially or otherwise after I requested a formal follow-up. So she did not review any of those documentations, but I'm seeing a lot of my stipulations in these forms, team. So on 7/5, I filed for a 501c3, right? And today I'm receiving from Mr. Ben Espinosa that my grant did not qualify after organizing over 40 partners because, and there's no reason.
Good morning. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Okay, for the safety of our interpreter, let's please alert them to take off their headphone. Start with item number 49, Mr. City Attorney. That's just something I have always wanted to ask you, but you never gave me a chance. So Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, and then you guys are already attorney, and then somehow you continue to hire different law firms, which is hire different attorney to spend those money. And then several times when I listed the item are saying, you know, spend those amount of money for compensation, settle this kind of lawsuit. I really wish our city attorney's office, you guys can start to doing something instead of attorney hire different attorney. And then I really wish the city of LA, everybody, all the department can start to doing the right thing instead of spending millions of hundreds of millions of lawsuit just for no reason. We can use those great amount of money for a lot of community services. So that's money really terrible spent. Next, I would like to talk about item number 1.为你付出那种伤心，你永远不了解，我又何苦勉强自己爱上你的一切？你又狠狠逼退我的防备，紧紧关上门来默数我的泪。明知道让你离开他的世界不可能会，我还傻傻等到奇迹出现的那一天，直到那一天。你会发现，真正爱你的人独自守着。曾经我以为我自己会后悔，不想爱的太多，痴心绝对。为你落第一滴泪，为你做任何改变，也换不回你对我的坚决。Now let's move on to item number 2. 我给你最后的疼爱是手放开，不要一张双人床，中间隔着一片海，感情的污点就留给时间慢慢漂白，把爱收进胸前左边口袋，最后的疼爱是手放开，不想用言语拉扯，所以选择不责怪，感情就像候车月台，有人走有人来，我的心是一个站牌，给你最后的疼爱是手放开，不要一张双人床，中间隔着一片海，感情的污点就留给时间慢慢漂白，把爱收进胸前左边口袋。For general public comment, Mr. City Attorney, I would like to provide a little clarification because I never had a chance. I agree with you that my 3-inch stream has nothing to do with the jurisdiction. I agree. However, if by having a 3-inch stream make me a target of hate crime, if by having a 3 inches that become me, I'm receiving a violent assault, a verbal attack, rape, robbery, whatever, then I'm becoming a victim because in the city of LA, because I'm having a 3 inches, then I do believe I'm entitled to safety just like every other 24 inches. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not trying to show off my 3 inches in any way, but I'm trying to talk about to have some safety, to have, let's try to stop the violence on the seafood buffet. Let's try to respect everyone, regardless the 3 inches or the 24 inches. That's the reason why I talk about is to stop the violence, stop the crime, not just the 3 inches.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker. Actually, before you begin, so just standing offer, if you would like an interpreter, just let us know a couple days ahead of time and we will do our best to accommodate that. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Thank you. Just for the record, my alias today is War and Peace. I'd like to speak on all items and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3
I did have a
minutes.
question, though, because 9 and 17 were amended, but then voted on. Were we not allowed to comment on those amendments?
So public comment has already been held for those items, and they were technical amendments. So you have 3 minutes for the other items and 1 minute for general. Please
17 had
begin
some
with the
pretty
items.
substantial amendments that changed a lot of the language. How was that technical? Okay, I guess I'll just continue with the items since I can't get any clarification from the city attorney or Mr. Harris Dawson, who's running the meeting. So I guess we'll begin with item 1. So this is a liquor permit. It's Bar Memento for this time on West Wilshire. As much as I love beer and I love eating the salty snacks you typically enjoy with beer, I love drinking just as much as the next person, and so does my family of alcoholics. But I think it would be cool if maybe we put a moratorium on new liquor licenses and other things that aren't necessarily completely mandatory for the functioning of our city while we deal with active emergency orders like that of our unhoused resident population. I don't know, just a thought. Item 49 from the continuation agenda is related to a settlement with LA Forward Institute et al. Against the city of Los Angeles. And part of this is that we're having to pay an outside law firm $250,000 over the total of 3 years for help with this lawsuit. We also heard council vote on a number of closed session items before presentations, all of which were lawsuits, only one of which totaling a $3 million payout. So these liabilities are not covered in our budget. The LAPD is the biggest liability, with the biggest payouts coming from incidents arriving from their negligence. I wonder if we could maybe have them use their own budget to pay out these liabilities, considering that they also have the biggest budget line item of the city, coming to roughly a third of the total budget. We have some other items regarding rent escrow account programs. We all know how I feel about rent escrow account programs. I think it's good to have some way to get landlords held accountable when they're not holding up their end of the bargain as far as what they are obligated to provide for their tenants. What I don't like is that they are never at a loss. Once all is said and done, they get every penny that their tenants are obligated to pay under the lease, despite the fact that by nature of the fact that these accounts are in escrow, that means there's something the landlord is not providing that they legally have to. So I use the analogy, if you order a burger and fries and a milkshake, and I bring you the fries and water, do you think you should still have to pay me for that whole meal if I get it to you whenever I can at some point next week or next month or next year? As a food service worker, you would think that's ridiculous, but when it's a landlord, everything's peachy keen because they pay for your campaigns. So moving on to general public comment. Earlier in the meeting, Monica Rodriguez said, when you're great, you don't have to fight to be seen. I wonder if all of the victims of overdose we were just honoring feel that way. A body that purports to be a voice for the voiceless, and then Monica's just out here saying the quiet part out loud. When you're great, you don't have to fight to be seen. No disrespect to Gloria Molina, but I just thought that was interesting. And I didn't get a chance to sing about this a couple weeks ago. 4 weeks ago on Friday, my husband saw Hugo holding up his phone and taking a photo. Hey, Hugo, I need to know what you're doing with those pictures when you get home. Hey, Hugo, I need to know, are you aware there's cameras up there and we can see what's on your phone? Do you think you're alone? Hey, Hugo, why were you taking pictures of me? Shout out to Smoke and Scan.
You have 1 minute, go ahead.
Yesterday, on August 27th, 2024, LAFD paramedic Ed Brockschmidt was fired for failure to comply with the city's COVID vaccine mandate. This is despite the fact that the city of Los Angeles ended its emergency over COVID a year and a half ago and rescinded its vaccine mandate 2.5 months ago. To the people of Los Angeles, I know you think we're all crazy, right-wing, racist, all of the above, even though I'm none of those things. But there is going to come a day when you have injected yourself with enough vaccines and you've had enough bad reactions to PEGs and polysorbates and aluminum adjuvants, and you no longer wish to take these pharmaceuticals, and because you didn't stand up sooner for the rights of others to make their own medical choices, you will find yourself with no civil liberties. So please speak up now. And to Tracy Park, I would really appreciate it if you could stop getting on TV every 6 months and acting like you stood up for the rights of firefighters and police officers, because you have done jack. Thanks.
I'm Harriet Elliott, District 10. I've talked about it before that all my friends are dead. Okay?
So you have 1 minute for general public comment. Is that?
What general public comment?
Go ahead.
I like the teacher, Ellen Davis. She probably is the one that got me the job as a tutor over there for 2.5 years. Anyway, she's dead. Anyway, I asked Holly Batty. Holly Batty is a Democrat, okay? It's a clear indication to me she's got a good head, okay? I asked her to help me, and she said she's going to talk to Jessica Mintz. She's honest, okay? So this is, how far can she go? She can't. I cannot find these people unless I have police helping me. Police are not going to help me at all. This is partly CIA. Police are not, the minute I tell the police, it's a joke to them. There's 20 people dead, okay? Even all my friends at General Motors, if I knew them, if they were friends with me, I'm sure they're dead, okay? They're not all one type. Thank you.
Before the next speaker begins, I'm going to call one more name, Goat Puppet.
Too many FBI agents here today, shit.
Good morning. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Okay, go ahead. Tracy Park's in trouble. Did you know that Nossman LLP is defending your colleague in an ethics complaint? Did you seek a waiver? Because according to a report by the city attorney, R23-0419, Tracy Park should be getting a waiver because your outside counsel that you want to give this money to is defending the following. LADWP, ding! A construction services claim for the LADWP, ding! LAWA, ding! Equestrian Center at Griffith Park, ding! Providing the city insurance coverage for COVID-related injuries, ding! Federal and state legislative policies, ding! Representing the Harbor Department, ding! Representing Acton connection with right-of-way, ding! Representing the city with expansion LA Convention Center, ding! And John Lee! Don't go to prison, Tracy.
So you've exhausted your 1 minute on this item. Please, Mr. Spindler, please move on to another item.
Go to prison. I know, isn't it sad? I say Cinder. Now, number 37. We have Deacon Devil Kolb engineers to teach the LADBS how to do their jobs because they don't know how to do their jobs. Let's give them a hand. Well done. Yes, that's right. We have an engineering department that needs to be taught how to do engineering because there's too many DEI hires, like the city attorney's office. So we're going to give them $59,000 for 17 months for a total of $156,000 for September 30th, 2024. Well, that's going to, it's a retroactive contract sponsored by the council. Don't go to prison. Don't join Tracy Park in prison, please. And then, of course, we continue with the hypocrisy. And Tracy Park did something good on 34 before she goes down on that Nossman motion. She's emancipating a fine landlord over there, and we're trying to find the fucking address. Here we're at 8708 South Reading Avenue. A very nice place. Yes, I support it. And then, of course, Hugo Stalin Martinez. His screen name is Hugo Soto Martinez. He's actually a Russian Jew. And he has a couple of these REAP items. Did we see those on the schedule here? Yes, fuck item number 30 and fuck item 31. And then, of course, don't forget that douchebag buckethead over there in CD 15. He's also emancipating somebody from the list of criminals. Congratulations. And now for the general comment. How come over in Woodley Avenue between Burbank and what is it? Victory, that Imelda Padilla is running a drug factory and a human trafficking ring and won't turn the streetlights on? How come she's denying the services of people of the Hebrew faith? And how come Nithya Ramen Noodle is doing the same thing? Well, it's very simple. We have an expose, and it will star our good friend Kevin De Leon in the new movie entitled What I Was Doing in That Secret Meeting with Nuri. Yes, that's right. We're going to be casting this movie, yes. And we're going to have Edward James Olmos play Hugo De Leon. Yes, maybe he's dead, but he'll look very good for the part. And we will continue to cast the other cast members. Stay tuned, and Price, you're going to prison. Congratulations.
Okay, so I'm being told that we have no other speakers in the room. Mr. President, would you like to move to public comment on the phones?
Yes, we will go to telephones until 11:50.
Please unmute yourself and state the items you'd
Yes,
like to
my
speak
name is
to.
Jason. I'm a smoker scan viewer.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Let me get all available items and general public comment.
So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Cool, thank you, there, Pumpkinhead, and happy Overdose Prevention Day there. I think it's a good thing there, and I think I was wondering if we could do something about that. If maybe we can get like the Narcan station down on the corners on the street, because the other day I was down on Figueroa with this chick, and I paid her $5 to let me do some things there, and
So this is your only warning. This is not
yes,
on the
sir.
agenda. So please stick to the agenda items, or I'm going to move you to general public comment.
So we're not talking about overdose prevention and the Narcan, sir.
Again, please stick to the agenda. That's items 1 through 5, 28 through 37, and item 49.
Oh my God! It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. Let me get general public comment there, Pumpkinhead.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Cool. Shout out to the smoke scan community. Anyway, as I was saying there, I was wondering if we maybe get like some Narcan stationed down there on Figueroa. Because the other day I was down there with this lady, and I paid her a couple dollars to do some things there, and I hit her with a heavy load, and
This
basically,
doesn't seem to be in the
OD don't
jurisdiction of
baby
the LA
matter.
City Council. We should move to the next caller, City Attorney.
Nigga.
I think, Speaker, I need you to connect this to something within the subject matter jurisdiction of this body, or we're going to move on to the next caller. Okay. Caller.
Good morning. I'll speak at this show on all available items and general public comment.
Okay, so you
Item
have
number 1.
Go ahead. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute
Can
for
you hear
general.
me? Okay. Oh, okay, you can hear me. Okay, I have 3 different items and comment. Item 1 is regarding a liquor license for on-site consumption for Bar Memento in CD10 of unelected criminal Heather Hutt. This item should receive a no vote if corrupt, petty pink-faced crocorium appointed unelected Heather Hutt is allowed to vote on this item. Instead of bringing forth any programs that will enhance the living standard in CD10, the best that unelected Heather Hutt can do is to promote liquor licenses. This motion for more liquor licenses is a true testament to the complete lack of competence and meaningful representation from unelected Heather Hutt and these other black clowns on the sleazy council. I demand this motion receive a no vote unless verbiage and provisions are added that would decrease homelessness, increase employment base, training base, and education in CD10 area of unelected competent do nothing Heather Hutt. Items 28 through 34 for the removal of properties from the city's REAP account where the Sleazy Council regularly places liens on citizens' properties. These items should receive a yes vote and to not allow an indicted criminal Kern Price from benefiting from the lien and possible eventual sale of these properties into his and Dawson's embezzling accounts. I demand that these items have auditing verbiage added that would be overseen by the City Controller's Office that will prohibit indicted embezzlers Kern Price, criminally insane Marquise Dawson, and unelected Heather Hutt from financially benefiting from these rent escrow transactions. My general comment,
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go
LA
ahead.
City Council, thank you, is the most corrupt local government in the history of the United States, where petty pink-faced corrupt Armenian dictator Paul Krikorian has indicted embezzling polygamous criminal Kern Price and Sleazy Dawson, voting daily with the unelected Heather Hutt. The Black community has zero representation from these incompetent, corrupt, sellout, self-serving, indicted Black Uncle Tom criminal members of this corrupt city council. I demand all their resignations. Dawson is now trying to sell the Black community's unemployment office. Public Black faces occupy 20% of this sleazy council, yet Black people are nearly 50% of the homeless, 50% of the incarcerated, 50% of the unemployed. I demand all their resignations. Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Items and general public comment. This is Richard Serrano, candidate CD6. I know all items. Don't tell me I got 3 minutes. I know. So with that being said, how many people in the city of LA see how much money Kern Price is padding for his family and recusing himself? How many people recognize that he was doing this before he was recusing himself, padding the family because the wife got special privileges? Again, listening to the numbers, there's so many times he's recused himself since he's been indicted. Weezer is going to be turned in on the 30th. Are you guys ready for that? 13 years. People are speaking about Imelda Padilla using cocaine. I say, no, it's, she got some kind of allergy or something. Tomorrow, substance abuse day. All right, well, maybe rehab, whatever. Monica Rodriguez holding Pacoima City Hall as a jail cell. No one can get in there.
So,
And
caller, I
do
can't
any
tell
kind
which
of,
item you're speaking to, so please stick to the items.
Okay, let's go with it. There's two people in public comments here or in politics. Ted Cruz, his name's Edward. He named himself Ted. Kevin is Alexander, not De Leon, it's Leon. So quit fucking lying to the people. Sorry for being so upset. Keep it real. You're not really Mexican if you're going to have to change your name to get the vote. Your name is Kevin. How many Mexicans
So this
are
is your
named
only
Kevin?
warning. I'm going to move you to general public comment unless you get on topic with the
Moving to
items.
general public comment.
Okay,
hey,
so you have
shout
1
out
minute
to
for general. Go ahead.
Smoking Scan and Big Wedo. Big Wedo, love you, man. Thank you for being there and supporting me. And again, 9100 block of Dorrington Avenue. The fire department 2 Saturdays ago came out and put out a car fire. The car is still standing in front of the church and the school that it's in front of. If it was Encino or any other high-end area, Tracy, the slow of the area, wouldn't have to deal with it. The car's still standing there 2 weeks out. I'm tired of the environment being looked at. I had a 2-hour interview with a student from USC. Excuse me, Cal State Northridge. And the gentleman was great because Imelda Padilla is going to do something for Tobias Street Park. I talked to the homeless people in there.
Okay, caller, your
There
time
is
has
nothing
expired.
but
Next
homeless.
caller.
Let's move on to public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Mr. City Attorney, yesterday you took the name of Gus and Preven and you placed him before 7 other people. You went up to the president there who denies us public speaking. I'm talking about Mr. Dawson. And what did you whisper in his ear? Wait a minute, there's 2 of these people. Should I change my name, sir? Do I need to go to Goldberg? Do I need to go to Goldstein? What is it that you want, Mr. City Attorney? You denied 7 people an opportunity to speak because you wanted to make sure they were called upon. And yet you cleared my line to speak, and then you denied me. You denied me, okay? And I'll guarantee you this, if I match my record to your record or anybody's record, you couldn't come close to what I've done for this city. I love this city, and Mr. City Attorney, you were wrong, because when Mr. Serrano calls, you don't clear his line. You don't call, is it something that you have that we might take a look at, sir? Because, again...
Caller, your time has expired.
Rodriguez,
Next caller.
Good morning. My name is Pat Bates. Thank you for passing item 22. Councilmember Padilla's motion to request the report and recommendations regarding the situation in the Sepulveda Basin vis-a-vis illegal activity and fires. As of last evening, this August, there have been 31 fires in the Sepulveda Basin, burning over 100 acres of habitat. Firefighters have been injured in the basin fires this summer. All of these fires are due to illegal activity, most from allowing occupancy and accompanying hazardous and flammable materials to be where they shouldn't. An additional note, when will Council file 240140S1 regarding the impact of the Grants Pass decision on enforcement of city statutes be scheduled for the City Council to hear it? Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. So almost throughout that caller's time for providing public comment, Mr. Spindler, you were speaking loudly to yourself enough that you were distracting attention from the caller. I'm instructing you to be quiet. Sit there and be quiet, or else you'll be removed from this chambers. Next caller.
Okay, all right, thank you. There are too many places selling alcohol in this city. And before you call me a hypocrite, it's smoke and scan. We don't do drugs, just weed. And general public comment. You want
you have 1 minute.
less alcoholics and drug addicts? Here's an idea. Keep alcohol and drug addicts away from where kids are. Why are we celebrating drug addicts at libraries? If you think it doesn't affect the kids, why don't you open up the little Billy Blumenfield drug site at your house where your kids are, instead of putting them around people's kids that hang out around MacArthur Park? I wasn't going in to call in today. I was up to my shoulders in ankles at work, but after the presentation today, I think it was disgusting. When did we get a cure for people with AIDS that were white? Every time you divide groups that are struggling into smaller groups, they have less of an impact and you make them weaker. The only reason to have a minority AIDS foundation and a white AIDS foundation is so that you can send more tax money to your disgusting, grifting friends. To quote Eric Preven, why not just do better? Some of the people on Smoke and Scan are saying that Candido drinks baby batter for breakfast, but I don't believe them. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. It's Eric Preven from Studio City.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to speak on the available items and also the general public comment. And I'd like to request special assistance in terms of no interruptions.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Which items is it?
So the items that are open for public comment are 1 through 5, items 28 through 37, and item 49.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone, I guess, because it seemed like everyone was piling on for the library and Parks and Rec for getting a look-see as to how many bathrooms, water stations, hydration, and where they're located, and the cost to kind of fix them up. This is so important, and I have been, holding this one for a very long time because people need to use the facility. It's a biological imperative for human beings, and we have come up with a structure in this city led by the idiots at the Metro Board, and it goes back a couple generations. It's not just Krikorian and Yaroslavsky. In fact, Yaroslavsky is, swimming to get to the shore. These are longstanding policies to deny access to basic needs in the hope that it's going to somehow
So you've exhausted
improve
your
the
minute on that
situation.
item. Please move on to another item.
Thank you, but that was an interruption, so that counts as one small violation. I'd like to add to the CC list of all the things we're going to be looking for on those recreation items. Also, let's do a total tally on high school regulation basketball courts within CD4, and let's do a 500-foot radius around the Whitsitt Library and see how many high school regulation basketball courts for private school students we really, really need in a public area that's already starved for open space. I would ask Raman to take a quick look over at Yaroslavsky, glance quickly over at Mr. Harris Dawson, and all agree that Prop K is not for Krikorian. It's for the kids. Open space is what our children crave. Thank you. Now, in terms of keeping housing affordable, item 27, there was a lot of support for that. And I think,
So
finding ways
item
to
number
do
27 is
socialized-
not open for public comment, but you can speak to it during general. So please stick to the other items for the initial 3 minutes.
Okay, but my only question, and then I'll desist on that. Why is that not on the agenda? Why don't you want people to talk about it? It's a good
You know
idea.
that this is not a Q&A session, so please stick to the items. You can speak to it during general if you'd like.
It's not a Q&A and it's not a deposition. So let's agree that we can move forward with me speaking on the items that are officially recognized by you and Krikorian as speakable today. Okay? Do you stipulate to that, Broad?
All right, so you've been
All
asked
right.
politely to
Well-
stay on topic. I'm going to move you to general. You have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I took note of the legal settlements today, and there was one for $3.6 million, which I looked into. It had to do with a projectile, non-lethal projectile, and just constant shameful fighting and fighting rather than owning up. This is what happens, and this is what has happened, which is why I read in the Daily News just last week that the Mei Ling episode, where all your favorite council members went into the back room and said, not now, we have budget problems, not now, we have budget problems, for years and years, and resulted in huge budget problems for the new generation. So my heart goes out to Hernandez and Yaroslavsky and Soto Martinez and Padilla and the young whippersnappers who just got elected and are now going to have their hands tied directly behind their backs by Blumenfield and Krikorian and Kern Price and old Bob Blumenfield, who just didn't do what was needed, which is to step up, turn the light on, and say, Mr. Preven is right. We need to do it out
Mr.
in the
Preven,
open.
your time has
But they
expired.
didn't do that.
All available items and general public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
All right, thank you. These items are jokes. We got a bunch of removals from REAP. I was really surprised and actually pleased to hear Candido talk about the REAP program and how it doesn't seem to help anybody. Renters, it seems to hurt the most. So honestly, that was just nice to hear. Liquor licenses. We hear all this stuff about fentanyl, and fentanyl is a problem, and it's a great scapegoat because it's associated with things like immigration and poor brown people and the Chinese somehow and cartels. But everyone always seems to forget about alcohol and how that's one of the biggest killers in our country. Just directly from consuming it, never mind the after effects down the line from health conditions, never mind just peripheral effects, such as people like just passing out in the street, people just falling asleep everywhere. People assume it's fentanyl, but we're acting like alcoholism is just done. Like, when did we cure drinking problems? We didn't. So this needs to be addressed. What's the metric? How do we prove that this isn't going to cause a public nuisance? Just because the media and the politicians say that everyone's overdosing on fentanyl and that's what's killing our community? Alcohol has been the killer for over 100 years. Our government banned it at one point, and that was the first time. Well, that was one of the most important times that we saw that the government doesn't know what they're doing, because what did it do? It just created the alcohol cartels. and then they went back on that, and now you can get alcohol everywhere, including within however many feet you want of a school or this or that. You know, they disguise it in supermarkets and convenience stores, but it's a drug. Alcohol is a drug, and it needs to be treated like one if we're gonna be so hard on people that smoke weed or that fall into like heroin use. Heroin users don't typically drive and kill people at the same rate
So,
as alcohol
caller, I'm going to
users
ask that
do.
you move on to another item. You've used your 1 minute on item number 1. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. The CEQA exemption for sewer purposes and traffic signal. I mean, I think we need to have a CEQA explanation presentation. We spend a lot of time in these meetings, in the beginning of the meeting, honoring all kinds of people that we've actually honored before. It's crazy. We should use that time to educate people on what is CEQA even for? No one seems to understand why it exists. It has the air of a state program, but it seems weird that the city can just override it whenever they want. If that's not the case, you got to explain it to us because we don't know what the fuck is going on. It seems like it's an environmental thing. You claim to be from the environment. Well, if you are, and this isn't going to hurt the environment, then you need to explain to us how a CEQA exemption for a sewer easement isn't going to somehow down the line lead to something wrong with the groundwater.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, general public comment.
Yes,
so
go ahead.
General public comment. Thank you. Hugo Soto Martinez is a fucking mamon. He's a pendejo, and he's not very slick. If you pay attention to what's going on in the city right now, Ulysses, Nisia, and Hugo are all being revealed by the actually active activists, the real leftists, not liberals, leftists, out in the streets, the workers, the renters, organizing, revealing them for who they are. They're just shit libs. They're just capitalists, and they have no intention on helping the people. They all have little communities that are protesting them. Ulysses has the Hillside Villa people. Hugo has something on the way. Who knows what? Nisia has Ethel. You know, it's crazy. It will be revealed. I wish the conservative callers would not try to make them seem like they're so progressive, because you're doing a lot of favors for them when you say those things, because they're not progressive. Hugo, you're weird, bro. That Ukrainian war propaganda was weird. I don't know
Caller, your
what's more
time has
weird.
expired.
All right, thank you very much.
Pictures of my wife?
Thank you very much. Your time's expired.